Hey there, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the sentence patterning chart and how you can do that digitally, whether your students are online or whether you have half the students in class for a hybrid model. So we're going to be using Google Slides with this, and we're also going to be tapping into our seesaw because that's where we put our here there chant in a previous tutorial, and we need to do that before we do the sentence patterning chart. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and so here in Google Slides, I have created a template on my first slide where I'm going to start with, of course, the noun column and fill that in. Now, for those of you that were trained by Sarah and I, you know that we have the rainbow color code system. Some of you who are trained by other trainers may be more familiar with the noun being the color black. As we talked about in our tutorial videos or in the class videos in our Path to Proficiency, it doesn't really matter whatever your color coding is. So we're going to go with our color coding for this tutorial, which is orange nouns. Now, you have your noun in there. You're going to be doing this synchronously with the students. So your screen is going to look similar to yours does now with my thumbnail next to the Google slide. And also, just like you were, if you were doing this in the regular classroom, you're going to need to do the mini lesson of the different parts of speech. And so the way that we're going to do that here is I'm going to be inserting a text box above my noun box and talk about what a noun is: a person, place, thing, or idea. It's a little bit big, so we'll make that, let's make that 10 and the same color as whatever your part of speech color coding is. So now it's going to fit up there. We can also add images to go along with our teaching. I'm going to upload them from the web, which is easiest unless you already have something. So let's just do a person and clip art. The clip art is taking the place of a sketch. Normally, we have talked a lot about using authentic images, but in this case, I'm really okay using clip art or sketches. We'll continue doing that for the rest of our titles here. Now, once you've taught the mini lesson for your part of speech, we're going to add our part of speech. Nouns, let's just use the same noun that we have in our here there chant, which is animals. And then that's my first slide. Now, there's two ways that you could proceed from here. One way is to continue using just this one slide and fill in your columns the same way that you would do it on chart paper. When you're doing the lesson synchronously with students, they're going to go into their breakout rooms after you give them the prompt, like, adjectives or verbs, to come up with those words and then add them to this chart. But another way that we're going to do it, which I'll model here, is over here in our taskbar. I'm going to copy and paste that slide. So now on slide number 2, I already have the nouns filled in, and now on the second slide, I'm going to start with the adjective column. The reason that I'm doing this, or the advantage of doing it this way, is that if you wanted to, say, record this or do it asynchronously later, each slide is then going to have the next part of speech, and you can do it as a slideshow and bring in each column as you are narrating what it would be. All right, so let's use our last slide here to then go ahead and add in our noun again. We mentioned the seesaw piece. So when you're doing this lesson with students, now I need to go over to my seesaw and pull up the here there chant that we have done previously in another activity. Just like in the regular classroom, you're going to chant this chorally with your class, talk about the highlighted words. You'll have your picture file cards already there because we've already processed this, but chant this first so that you can bring their attention to the highlighted words. That will guide them in then filling this out. So once you're finished filling in your words for the parts of speech, this can remain in your Google Classroom for the students to be able to add to or refer to later. But we're not quite done yet. Now we're going to take our sentence patterning chart and the parts of speech that we have brainstormed, use them in a grammatically correct sentence, and chant our sentence. So I've put together here the sentence patterning chart in a more finished form. We're going to take this grid that we've created with our class, and we're going to take a screenshot of it. Okay, that's going to go out on my desktop. And now I'm going to open up a Jamboard. So this is the next online tool that we're using. This is an untitled jam, and so let's call it the SPC from maybe English first period. So English 1. Okay, I'm going to go to the set background and click on add a photo. Find that screenshot that's now stored on my desktop, and add that as it uploads, add that to set our background. Once it is there, it's not going to move, it's now our background. Now I want to make a point right now that you're going to watch another tutorial when we go to the next step, which is actually I've already filmed previously to this. This cool set background feature is new in Jamboard, so all that funkiness that we talk about in the next tutorial video, you don't have to do it because, and you'll know what I mean when you see it, because you just have to set the background. Okay, sticky note time. We're going to go to the closest color to our adjective column and create 3 adjective stickies. We are working on the primary version of the chart. So I'm going to now click on it, duplicate it 2 more times. I can resize them and move them around where I need them to be. I'm going to suggest that you once I get these all resized, we're going to put them just in the adjective box at the top of the column to kind of let them live there. Now let's go over to our verbs and start a new sticky note with our verb color. Save that and get that put where it needs to be. Resize, let's do the other one. Resize it and put it at the top of the column. I'm going to go now to my prepositional phrases. There's no purple. So as I create this post-it, I'll just go with the no color and go with that. Resize it, put it where it needs to be, and I am not liking that. So let me fix that color. I guess I'm just going to use yellow because it's a color we haven't used before, and I need blue for adverbs later. All right, now with the students, you're going to place your post-it notes next to the words that you're going to chant. Let's see, let's go with striped, solitary, wild, and striped. That sounds like a tiger to me. So what do? They stalk, and where would they stalk? In the jungle. Okay, let's chant our sentence. Here's how the primary frame goes. Solitary wild animals, solitary wild animals, solitary wild striped animals stalk in the jungle. Okay, folks, I'm a chanter, not a singer, just to let you know that. All right, I'm moving one of my adjectives over to the adverb column because I need the same number of post-its, but now we're doing the intermediate version. So I'm moving that or changing that to be an adverb, and I'm going to choose the word quietly. Here's how that goes. Solitary wild animals, solitary wild animals, solitary wild animals stalk quietly in the jungle. All right, there is your frame with the primary and the intermediate chants. What you can do with this when you're done is to go ahead and put it in your LMS. Let the students then make a copy for themselves so that they would individually or as teams or pairs be able to then move the post-its around and make their own sentences. So that's how to do your sentence patterning chart virtually using Google Slides and bringing in your Seesaw resources. We're going to take this one step further. And in part 2 of this tutorial, we're going to talk about taking the sentence patterning chart down to the individual student level so that they can manipulate the words similarly to how you did the reading and trading game. I'll see you there.